Life is short. Still, most people spit it, like they are going to fix it after 20 years of waste. Let me give you a couple examples. Work on an 8 to 10-hour job daily Monday to Saturday, and that's fine. The thing is, all that hard-worked money drains out on a weekend hangover, or on that expensive trip to Europe you saved for 5 months. It doesn't matter what you wasted your time and money on. If at the end of the year, your situation is the same or worse than the year before, my friend, you're cooked. Now, let Mike show you how it's done. Chapter 1. Time perception. When you were a kid, you probably remembered one day as a long-lasting experience. Why? Because on that time, everything you saw was a new experience. That first time you managed to ride a bike without scrapping your leg was absolutely awesome. That first time you managed to solve a simple arithmetic problem and then feel like an absolute Albert Einstein. That was awesome. Or what about that friend you thought you would make an unstoppable business partnership and become millionaires together? That was awesome. And that large list of achievements are the reason why your childhood was timeless and satisfying. Now let's translate all that stuff into adult life. The adventure that was riding your bike turned into a daily race of you trying to get to your job on time, just to argue with some random that drive like a psycho and get on a stoplight, to wait while you breathe some gases from the cars beside you, all that when the time is nearly running out. Then that arithmetic equation you solved turned into a second-order differential equation. But that's not the problem. The thing is, maybe after you solved it, you may feel some satisfaction, but then you realize someone did it better and faster than you. And someone else won an acknowledgement. And $1 million for solving the math enigmas nobody has ever solved before. And then Elon Musk made $600 million that day, after making another contract with the government that grants him another ton of millions soon after. All that while you solved something somebody already did 200 years ago. And now computers solve it in milliseconds. Of course, granting you an income of $0, college students will know what I'm talking about. And finally, that group of friends you thought would last forever turned into you, realizing that almost everyone around you talks with you because they are interested on something you have. Maybe it is to ask you to borrow money, sharing their addictions with you. Or because you're a pretty girl and they want to hang out with you. And we all know what the real intentions are. The thing is, when you grow up, life turns into a repetitive cycle of getting up, deal with traffic, being despised at work while you do the same thing over and over again. Barely eat, barely sleep, and then wait for that precious weekend or yearly vacation to spend your little savings and tasting 2 seconds of life before repeating the cycle again. With this setup, you can easily spend 20 years of your life and then regret it. The only fuel that keeps you going on is to taste that off days, or to await that special job opportunity that will never happen. Chapter 2. Time management. Okay, just as a reminder, this video is not about quick micromanaged optimization tips like how to fill an Excel spreadsheet on 2 minutes so your boss gets less angry with you. Or to say something like, hey dude, just stop playing that video game and watching social media. So you magically turn into a Brad Pitt-faced Jim Gigachad that drives a sports car on a beach, with 4 girlfriends that you got by being self-confident, while ignoring them and focusing on yourself. While at the same time, you know the magic trick to flirt. And having a game and all that repetitive 2 hours of trashy content, clickbait. No. Let me tell you about the deathbed test. Simple and straight to the point. You lay on your bed, and then you picture yourself as a 90 years old that is thinking about the things you did on your life. Do you think you will remember that extra hour you gave? So, your boss would somehow get happy with you. Or will you instead remember the time you spend with that family member that passed out? Or that first date? Or that first kiss? After you realize that, you will see your priority changing. Now, with your priorities clear, you can only select 3 of them, and then you have the 3 priorities that you will focus from now on. Now, finally, to see results and confirm your time management improvement for this chapter, Start making slow but consistent progress on that priorities you listed. If you listed something like, start my own side business so I don't rely on my unstable job, try investing a little time on studying your market, searching for your providers, making your website store, and there you have it. Well, I just told you I was not going to tell you to leave your video games and social media. But given this context, we can agree that video games and social media are not on your priority list. So you have to discard it and invest as little time as possible on those ones. You will have to forgive me on this one. Anyway, by this point you have learned how to percept and manage your time. So let's blend it together before going to the next chapter. First, try to make new routes to arrive on your job. Try to cook a different recipe on your kitchen, something you never thought you would be able to make. For example, I tried to make sushi, and I never realized how easy and cheap it is to make, as long as you wash well your fish and learn the art of making rice the right way. Who knows, maybe the next weekend, instead of dating with a girl on a sushi bar and dealing with the awkward silence of nothing to say or nothing to impress her, while you wait to pay $4 or $10 for each piece you eat, instead, you try to make the sushi yourself and have a more enjoyable experience. Then, make a consistent routine for your priorities. Any hour free is invested on learning about your business. You will see how 1 month later, you're making your first sale or your first international importation process. With those two combined, you will see how your timeline expands as you have reconstructed your childhood life setup. So, your days feel longer, and you're making progress on those little time spaces on the stuff you actually want for your life. Chapter 3. Creative Lifestyle. As you may see, creativity is not a I was sit and suddenly the revolutionary invention pop out of my head moment. Is more like a long, messy failure process. Let me explain. Imagine you need gold. The only way to get that gold is to open a valve that drops you a mixture of dirt, dirty rocks, and dirty gold. That valve is your brain, so you really want that gold. So you open the valve, jump in the dirt, and catch something that looks like gold, covered in dirt. You start sweeping it with your hand, getting it dirtier. Then you see that the thing inside looks like gold. So you sweep faster and realize it's just a worthless rock. You have two choices: sweep another material or just walk away. But you want that gold, whatever it takes. So you start sweeping dirt. After digging the 20th material, you finally have found gold. That it's how creativity works. You may find multiple variations from this metaphor. For example, someone opened the valve and just dropped out 5 materials. It may be easy for him to find gold as he has to sweep less dirt, but surprise, no gold. Other guy just dropped 1 material out of the valve and believed fiercely this has to be gold, but it wasn't. So he gets sad and starts crying on the floor, because that special material was nothing more than a rock. So there you are, with your piece of gold, found after days or even months of sweeping dirt. And that dirt is still covering your body and hands. You may see it washing out, as you're not going to be dirty your entire life. But you have gold on your hands. You start to see other people watching at you as you have gold. They may try to take it from you, but you're careful enough to not let that happen. This is the world of creativity. Some people never had their hands dirty, so they start laughing at the people that is getting their hands dirty just to find rock after rock. And if someone find gold, they just say they were lucky, and they could have done exactly the same thing. Those who have found gold now have everyone around them trying to take a piece of it. But the reality is that they have that gold now. Let's try to implement creativity to our lives first. Try to make yourself a creative person, make a lot, and I mean a lot of curious ideas. This process is the valve dropping dirt. Now, try to filter the bad ideas from the good ones. This is sweeping the dirt from the rock. But remember, if you haven't swept the material accordingly, you may have dropped gold without realizing it. And if you overcommit to a material, you may find yourself sweeping a rock. This represents how someone overcommits themselves to an idea that has no future and frustrate after years of investment. Finally, you will find that gold. The gold represents good ideas that can change your life forever. Now, by implementing it to our timeline, look how the earliest phase of your lifetime changed from being a spot with you working for the dream of other person in order to survive. With small moments of progress on your own priorities, turn on a phase of your lifetime where your complete time is invested on your priorities. This is the time when you manage to fully focus on your own business. As while you were surviving, you made a little investment on your business to learn it and run it from the scratch, or that promotion you earned by implementing an idea that actually worked out well, or that relationship you made by changing your route to work, moving out, and making changes that helped you escape the routine cycle. With that timeline set up, let's move on to probably one of the most valuable chapters on this video. Chapter 4, Financial Education. This is easily the most valuable asset you would get from this video. Let's see. More income is not the same as more wealth, as you can see. The wealthiest people on the world isn't measured by how much they earn, but on how much they accumulate. This is called equity, and that is not like Scrooge McDuck swimming on a giant pool of money. It's about how your freedom of time is measured. Look, having a large amount of equity stored on multiple investments generate money. This is called interest rate. Do you have any retirement plan? Then that company invests that money and return you a profit some decades later. You may see the rewards of that investment later, as long as your principal or the amount of money you put on that company is not touched. Do you have any house? That house is supposed to revaluate over time and generate profits as long as you rent it. Any possession you have, and preferably able to generate money over time, is called an asset. Your computer, your phone, your house, anything. But still, what most people do is to buy useless stuff and generate debt. That stuff is called unproductive assets. And that substitutes your chances of gaining productive assets. And the debt you have is called liabilities, as they are obligations that makes you pay money instead. But for this video, we won't get into much detail with this, as we are going to cover this in the future. The point here is that if you have a large amount of equity, you may take large profits from a determined interest rate. It is easier said than done. But still, you may open a new part of the timeline where you are the owner of your time and live your life based on your previous wise decisions and hard work. Now, you're able to see what a precise, simple but useful sketch of a wisely made lifetime looks like. We haven't covered multiple key points like health, relationships, careers, spiritual, and a more profound analysis of the financial aspect. But we may cover it on future videos. Still, with this canvas, you're able to extend, evolve, succeed, and enjoy your life. If you made it this far, I have a gift for you. As this is the first and probably one of the longest videos of this channel, give a like and subscribe, and then search in YouTube for this channel. Pick a random video and listen to it while you are working out, studying, or animating like me. You can thank me later.